YouTube, what's up? What's going on? How we doing, man? Welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. My name's Eli Jennings. Today we're gonna be talking about, as the video's title is called, how to be dynamic socially. Okay, and so I got 4 things listed down here I want to go over, but really what it's gonna be, I'm gonna reference my book a little bit, one chapter in particular, but kind of just a little bit of like advice. I've been a number of places, I've met a lot of people, I've been very, very fortunate to develop, probably, I would say dozens of pretty significant relationships of people who I know I can call, they know they can call me, we develop sort of a rapport, but on top of that, it's something deeper. It's something different about the way a lot of people relate to people in the way you can, what's possible. As such, all right, number 1, and this, I learned this when I was doing stand-up in Richmond a number of years back. I forget who gave me this piece of advice, but it has propelled me in every social situation I've been in since. And he was giving me this advice for stand-up specifically, and what he said was, your one goal, as soon as you get up on that stage, is to convince the audience that at no point during this experience will they have to feel embarrassed for you, okay? And you want to do that as quickly as possible, because then that opens up a whole other arena of socialization, of connection, really just anything, because people can tell. And so it's one thing, right, when you get up on stage and, you might start off with some risky jokes, or you might, however you would go about that. But for me, I realized that if I was standing up there with my feet planted, my shoulders straight, and I was making these jokes, it did not matter to me if they liked them or not. Now, ultimately, audience feedback in stand-up is the one thing that really matters, but you have to be coming from a place if you want to be successful in that arena. And, that's something I certainly wouldn't say I've had enough experience to be successful in, but you have to convince the audience of that. And so how does that apply to social situations? Well, think about it like this. The easiest example is intimate relationships, right? Especially when you first meet somebody, you're very interested, that there's sort of that initial chemistry, right? But once you get in that situation, once you're on the date, once you've really like facilitated what you're looking for, the key is to always present yourself and show up as yourself. And so at no point during this interaction will you feel embarrassed for me. That doesn't mean you're going to like me. That doesn't mean that I need anything from you. That doesn't mean I'm going to cater or whatever. But what that does is it allows the other person to relax a little bit, Because we all know that feeling, in your stomach when there's somebody who's really struggling. In stand-up, it's very apparent, and you just kind of get like that. But it's the same thing with social situations, and not even just romantic ones, right? So whenever you meet somebody, whenever you get into that environment, think about it like that, okay? My first goal is to convince you as quickly as possible, at no point during this interaction will you have to feel embarrassed for me. All right, now rule 2, okay? And I do remember where I got this one from. Head of school growing up, he coached me in basketball for a few years. He, among the smartest people I've ever met, most definitely. And he told me this on the way back from a game one year. He said, everyone you'll ever meet knows something you don't. So you should treat them with that respect so you can learn from them. And that sounds like really, you know what I'm saying? That's another one of those little, like, at first glance, it's kind of like a little colloquial. It's like, oh, well, of course, but like, why should I do that? But when you really start to think about this quote, when you really, really break it down, it's the truth. Now, an addendum I might add is that person the stuff they know, that shit might not even be worth knowing. But there's only one way you'll ever figure that out. And so, if you've gotten into a social situation, if you feel like you've established yourself as an individual, nobody's feeling embarrassed for you, nobody's trying to look over their shoulder to make sure, you know what I'm saying? If you're there, you've already done that. Step 2 is understanding that whoever you're around, whether it's a romantic partner, co-workers, people you might have met out one night, whoever they are, they know something you don't. And it's worth learning, because the true sign of intelligence is awareness of your ignorance. I had a buddy tell me one time when I was in school, one of the smartest people I've been around, he was just so well put together at 18, just one of those people who, like, anywhere you pressed, there he is, right? And I learned from him that the way you can approach people will then, like, allow them to embody themselves. And so, everyone you'll ever meet knows something you don't. Number 3, am I relating out of my aliveness or my neediness? Okay? And this is really one of the best compass things that I've learned. I don't know really the right word to say with that. But if you think about it, at any point in your day, in your life, whenever you're interacting with somebody, once you've already entered the situation, once you've established yourself a little bit, once you've observed the people around you, because observation is the key. Once you've observed them around you and you treat them with respect because you know you can learn from them. The third thing, okay, as I just said, am I relating out of my aliveness or my neediness? And I mean, what a phenomenal question to pose, because I mean, you'll get the answer to that so fast it'll make your head spin. And from that place, right? From that place, there's truly a fork in the road. Okay? There's 2 directions you can go there. And not to say that we can't express our needs, not to say that we shouldn't ever rely on other people, or that you can't have bad days, or that, none of that. But I mean in general. You know what I'm saying? When you're at work, when you're going out on that date, when you're, interacting with your family for the first time in a while, when you're even just like out in public in general, am I relating to this situation? Am I relating to life? Am I relating to this person? Out of aliveness or neediness? And when you're coming from a place that's alive, man, when you're really involved in life, it's so different. It's so different because you can go through all this shit. You can encounter the inevitable tragedies of life, but if you are able to look life directly in the eyes and to then go out and encounter and confront the things that you need to, you're an integrated human. Congratulations. Like that is someone who is alive. And being around people who are really there, right? Who are really willing to participate. There's not a lot of people like that out there, So other people will fall in love with you just talking about themselves. And this leads me to kind of my 4th and last point. And that is seek to understand before you seek to be understood. That's the bottom line, gang. That really is what it comes down to. And it's a very easy thing to say, an easy thing to hear, but if you really apply yourself and live life in that way, every interaction is not possible, but if in the majority of interactions, if the modality that you are presenting, that you are engaging with the world, if all of that is in line, and on top of that, when you're with other people, you are genuinely trying to understand. Yeah. I remember the quote from my buddy in college now. He told me one day, again, this is one of the smartest people I've been around, living in the same suite, experiencing how he interacted with the world, doing all that shit. He told me one day, Eli, I am fucking stupid. Mind you, he always has his nose in the book. He's like, you know what I'm saying? He's got the 3.8, the 4, you know what I'm saying? He's like, but while I'm fucking stupid, I am just smart enough to know how stupid I am. That's a game changer right there, man. Seriously. Because if you are able to understand the other people know so many things you don't. And genuinely learning and being willing to enter a situation and be wrong. I fucking love being wrong, bro. If you can convince me that I'm wrong, because, you know, that's not going to be the easiest thing, because I really try to, like, figure my shit out. But if you convince me I'm wrong, hell yeah. You know, I just learned something. And now I can go tell all the other dummies who thought what I thought 8 seconds ago that, you know, hey, you're fucking wrong, bro. You know, it's just like, none of it's ever personal, man. Ever. And I don't care who you meet. I don't care where it is. I don't know what the environment might be. But when you start to see other people as natural phenomena, you know, as waves crashing on the shore, as this embodiment of genetics and experiences that shaped them in ways they will never understand. Because there are so many things that have shaped me in ways that I will never be able to connect. But it's understanding that and being willing to connect with someone else out of the aliveness, not the neediness. I don't need to be right. You know what I'm saying? I don't need you to have sex with me. I don't need you to validate what I'm doing. I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? If you are genuinely able to reach a place like that, it's funny. It's like, in a way, the world almost becomes like, the world becomes your bedroom in a way. I mean, it's very seductive to be around people who are able to do these things. You know, it is such, it's almost like an oasis in a desert. And when you show up to situations truly as you, when you're 10 toes down, when you're entering and willing to be wrong, but also you're going to stand up straight while you be wrong. Dude, the whole world opens up socially. And the most exciting thing about that is it really doesn't matter who the other person is. You know, provided you speak the same language, you can form that connection. You can form that bond. And if you don't agree with them on shit, that is all the more reason to go out and develop the relationship. The awareness of your own ignorance and, you know, the humility and willingness to go seek wisdom and to be willing to encounter the world differently. And so I don't want to repeat myself too much here, you know, but just to run through these one more time, think about them in this order. Write this shit down, man, because it's literally just a checklist. And if you do these 4 things, you will be so fucking dynamic socially. You'll be able to connect and form relationships. And then when you are in need, or when it is your day where you could use a little help, you will have so many people who are ready to pop up there for you because you have been there for them. It's profound, okay? So number 1, as soon as you enter the situation, your goal is to convince them as quickly as possible, whoever it is. At no point during this will you have to feel embarrassed for them, okay? Number 2, everyone you'll ever meet knows something you don't. So if you treat them with that respect, you will learn something. Number 3, am I relating out of my aliveness or my neediness? And number 4, seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Connection, man. Community. And here's the thing about me. Like, anyone who knows me even a little bit, I have had a lot of struggles and a lot of fuck ups. And, you know, really since graduating high school, I've been bouncing in and out of here. There's been jail, rehab, you know, going to sober living here, being on probation, you know, all this shit, man, all this stuff that's my fault and it's my responsibility. And so I'm walking through it. However, at no point have I been alone, ever. And the reason for that is I was willing to take the advice that other people gave me, even the people I didn't like, and constantly show up out of my aliveness, not my neediness. And that's why I genuinely feel I can enter into any social situation and I will bring something to the table, because I just want to get to know them. You know, I just want to experience this particular natural phenomenon, and it's really fucking beautiful to step out and to encounter other people in that way. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna flip back to the to-do list. Shorty said we need to get some sponges, so I'm gonna get on it. Anyways, appreciate you guys. I'll see you next time.